This, my friends, is an old business framework, but it's a goodie, and it's called SWOT analysis. What the hell is SWOT analysis? Well, many of you will know, but many of you won't know because I don't believe SWOT analysis is used as much in business anymore. We still use it, I still use it, but I don't hear it being talked about as much as it used to be. Right, so SWOT analysis is S equals strengths. And I'm reading this so I don't miss anything. Right, it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So that spells SWOT. SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Right, I Googled an image for this podcast, and it's been in a newsletter already. If you are signed up, by the way, for the newsletter, MrSelfStorage.com, you are missing out. It's where all the cool kids hang out every single day, Monday to Friday. Right, so strengths are basically every single day I cough on a podcast. That is terrible. Right, strengths. What do we do well? I'm going to read it because it's very small here. What do our customers say we do well? What is our unique selling proposition? Do we have strong brand awareness, customer loyalty, supplier, distributor, influencer relationships? Basically, all our strengths. And I'm gonna use an analysis. I'm gonna use an example for self-storage for me when I did Wrexham. Weaknesses. So where can we improve? What do our customers frequently complain about? I think that's a biggie. What do customers complain about? I spoke about this in the newsletter. I think it's coming up. It's basically, you can learn so much from your negative reviews. You can learn so much from reading other self-storage reviews, but we don't do it. So what do your customers complain about or mention? Which objections are hard to address? Are we new or not well known? So there's weaknesses. There's loads more. Opportunities. Do our customers have any weaknesses we could benefit from? Target market growing or shifting in our favor? Is there only untapped pain points in our niche market? Threats. New competitors or expansion in existing competitors. Is our target market shrinking or shifting? Could any indirect competitors become direct competitors, etc., etc., etc.? Right, so what I've done here is I've done an example for you for self-storage for Wrexham. This is what I looked at when I did my SWOT analysis to buy in Wrexham. Right, so the strengths. I put site has long-term customers. They've been in there many, many years. So the chances are they're going to be, the churn rate is going to be very, very low. They've been open 15 years. That's another positive. Good position. It's not an amazing position, but it is a very, very good position still. It's got a long lease. That's got to be a strength as well. Had capital in the bank. That is a massive, massive strength because I use that capital to buy the business. So for example, I think I had to put like 45 grand down on day one. The bank had 21 grand in it. So I could use that 21 grand to pay the existing owners. So therefore, it only cost me 24 grand to buy the business, which is crazy. But it's just a practice that people use when buying businesses. It was a good price. That was one of the strengths. The weaknesses, low letter, because there's no point in just looking at strengths all the time. You need to look at weaknesses as well. And you need to weigh it up, the pros and the cons. So weaknesses, low lettable square foot. So meaning that I believe it was 50% ratio. So 50% of it was unused square foot, and 50% of it was lettable square foot, meaning rentable square foot. So the corridors were massive. So that has to be a weakness because there's only even though it's 10,000 square foot building, I can only rent out 5,000 square foot of that, which is crazy. It currently didn't open on Sundays and Thursdays. I mean, that could be an opportunity, by the way, as well. So that was a weakness at the time. Only opens half day on Thursdays. Crazy. Poor sales process. That is a weakness. Outdated systems. Low profits. I mean, poor sales process and outdated systems, that could be an opportunity. I don't know if I put it in opportunities, but that certainly could be an opportunity because sometimes a weakness is dressed up as a weakness. Oh, an opportunity is dressed up as a weakness when really, when we unpack it a little bit and use our knowledge, it becomes an opportunity. So outdated system, low profits, so it was very, very little profits. Rent increasing in the year was paying 55,000. It was going to 65,000 the year after. So that is obviously a weakness. Opportunities for Wrexham. Make the site manless and save £20,000 in wages. That is an absolute opportunity. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be a cost associated with that, but it's an opportunity. Put containers in the car park and increase the revenue by 100K. That's unbelievable, because that's what we are doing. We're doing that right now. We've got 18 containers there, and we can get to 50. Put our revenue management in place and increase revenue. Absolutely. We've already done that. We've increased it by nearly £50,000. Nearly £50,000 already. That is incredible. Increase the internal lettable square foot. That's an opportunity. So we can decrease the size of the corridors and increase the lettable square foot. Improve the opening hours for our customers. Absolutely, because if we make it manless, it becomes 24-hour access. So therefore, it's an opportunity to improve the site. Increase the technology to make it easier for the customers to rent units, i.e. you can rent over your mobile phone, or you can rent on our website rather than having to go through the previous owners when there was make sure you come in, etc. So we could definitely make it easier for customers. Improve the existing sales process. Yeah, that's a massive opportunity, no-brainer. Introduce insurance. This is the big one. This is massive because this increased our revenue by £20,000 a year. Introduce insurance to current customers. Absolutely. Yes, we must do that. Right, I'm going to get onto the threats in a minute. I'm just going to pause it because I need to take my kid to school. I'll be back in a second. You will not miss a drop. You will not even know I've gone. And just like that, I am back. So you didn't even miss me, did you? Right, where was we? The SWOT analysis. Threats was on threats, wasn't we? Right, so what were the threats for Wrexham? If anything goes wrong, we're 3 hours away, 3.5 hours away to drive there. Katie is a little bit closer now, so maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. But is Katie working that day? Is she busy and tied up at Mansfield? So we're a long way away. So if anything goes wrong, then that is a threat. We're new to the area and don't know the competition and how they operate. That is 100% true. We don't know what goes on. We don't know our neighbours around the area either, which we found can be problematic sometimes as well, because we've changed. Basically, it was a road that one of the buildings had scrap cars, and he used to use the road as a drop-off. And then when people couldn't get past, it was okay because people would go into our car park, into our land, and just drive through our car park and out the other side, which meant it was very, very easily. Everybody could do it. And we saw on cameras that delivery drivers would do it. Everybody would do it because he was blocking the road. And then when we put a fence up and stuff, and we didn't allow him to park his cars on our land, he was like, you need some friends around here. You can't just do that. You know, we all help each other out around here. And I said, well, nicest possible way in the world. We'll help you when we can, but very rarely will we need any help. We don't, you know, we will help out when we can, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to put a fence around our business. We need to put the fence around because we need to put containers around. And then sure enough, he complained to the landlord that we've got containers there. So yes, that has to be a threat, not understanding the local businesses and your local competition as well and how they operate. Customers may not like the improvements that we were going to make. So that's a big point, because what happens when all of a sudden a customer is used to the door being open and he can just come and go as he pleases in the opening hours. And all of a sudden now, that same customer has to put a PIN code in. They have to think of a 6-digit PIN code and then put a PIN code in to get in the gate, and then put a PIN code in to get into the building. Now, for me, that's an advantage twofold. Number one, heightened security. Heightened security. There's two forms of security to get through. And number two is now you can come 24 hours a day. You don't have to come just when we're open. If they was ill, if they was on holiday, they didn't open, you couldn't get access to your stuff. However, change. People don't like change. So we had to be aware that maybe that they wouldn't like the change that we was making. Even though we saw it as improvements, even though we knew it was better long-term for the customers and better overall for the customers, some customers may not like it. So that was definitely a threat. Is the site, it's a small site with a limited upside. That is very, very true. If we couldn't get containers on there, then I don't believe the deal would be worth doing, because with the best will in the world and the best revenue management system there is, and increasing prices, etc., there's only a limited amount you can do with 1,000 square foot, 5,000 square foot. What the heck can you do with 5,000 square foot? If you're getting £20 per square foot, that's 100 grand. 100 grand you're getting per year. The rent is 55,000, going up to 65,000. With the best will in the world, it's not worth it. It isn't. So it's a small site with limited upside. Unless we could utilize the container area, then it wouldn't be worth doing. We had to add value. So that was definitely a threat. I put here, wow, doing this. I put here, I've got loads from this exercise. It took me 10 minutes to go through, and I realized what a bloody great deal Wrexham was and still is. And I wrote this back in October, early October. It's now November, and the site has continued to improve. I think we're 1,500 square foot up extra from when I wrote this. We've got more containers in there. I put here, it's a SWOT analysis. It's an overlooked exercise, but it really does get your brain thinking in a different way, because it's got prompts, right? What are the threats? Opportunities. Where's the opportunities? Where's the weaknesses? Where's the strengths? And sometimes you don't need to do this for a new business, a new area you're looking at going in. You can do this with your current business right now, because it just opens up the brain waves and whatever. I was going to try and sound all scientific as I spit at the microphone. I can't pull that off. There's no way. Anyway, it just makes you think differently. There you go. They stick to the very, very basic words. It makes you think differently. And sometimes that's all we need to get a brilliant idea, is just repositioning ourselves and rethinking about it. So I would strongly recommend you do a SWOT analysis for your business right now and see where the opportunities are. I mean, the opportunities, the threats, there might be some threats that you've never even thought about. It doesn't matter how wacky they are or how wide of a mark they are. Right now, they still could happen. All right, my friends, that is it for today. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll be seeing you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.